Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please give us a call if you guys are looking to improve your credit score, lower your car payment, buy a car, trade in a car. If you're looking to purchase your first home, if you're looking to purchase a rental property, we can help you. Give us a call today, 877-205-7771. Talk to you guys soon, and thanks again.
Hello everyone, this is Calvin Russell, CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit Consultation. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today we're going to talk about how to purchase or lease a vehicle if majority of your income is with Uber, Lyft, Doordash, Ubereats, Postmates, Amazon, you name it, right? Listen, everyone has like some type of side hustle or another stream of income. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that people may have trouble trying to buy a vehicle or lease a vehicle if majority of their income comes from one of those places I've named or similar. All right, so let's go straight into it. The number one thing you have to understand is that you're no longer an employee when you're doing something like that. So the tax bracket is going to be a little bit different. They're actually going to have you under 1099 instead of a traditional W-2 employee. With a traditional W-2 employee, all the taxes are taken out of either your hourly wage or your salary base, okay? And or even if you're on commission or something like that, you have someone necessarily to report to. With a lot of these programs that are out there now, Uber, Lyft, and so on and so forth, they essentially allow you to decide when you want to work, okay? And then that is then based on, they will pay you directly what that pay that they're supposed to pay you on, okay? And then it's up to you to report to the IRS what your expenses and things of that sort are. The reason why it's easier to do it that way is because that way the company doesn't have to worry about having to have everything taken care of when you're talking about, let's say for example, paying into was that retirement accounts and having just whatever your regular taxes is for your state. Obviously everyone's state is going to be a little bit different. Now, to get around all of that, the biggest thing you have to understand is going to be based on your income. Okay, so that's number two, is understanding that what goes into your bank statements is going to play a major role into your buying power. All right, so let's go straight into a couple different things. So now let's say for example a person drives for Uber, all right, but they could also be a bartender, they could be an exotic dancer, I don't know. So but people have a lot of different places that they work where a lot of their income could be cash. But let's just focus on a 1099 situation if you're working for any of these companies or similar. So the biggest thing is going to be making sure you deposit majority of your money, if it's not already directly deposited, into your bank account. When it's set up like that, it just makes life a lot easier because that's the first thing that they're going to ask for, because normally a person shows W-2s, they can do what they call a verification of employment, also a VOE, and banks do that not just with home buying, they do that with car buying as well too. And so you're going to have to understand a couple different things. One is, well, technically that's one was, of course, that you're no longer an employee. You are self-employed in a situation like that. Number two, understanding that your income obviously has to be a certain amount that goes into your bank statements. All right. And then number three, making sure that you deposit that money into your account either on a weekly basis, daily basis, at minimum, obviously a monthly basis, but who lets their money pile up for a month and then deposit it? So, but that's how they're going to be able to determine your income. Like in a job, they just ask you for W-2s and they do a verification of employment. With a 1099, they go by the bank statements, and they're going to go by a bank statement average. Okay, so a bank statement average could easily be, let's say for example, you did, I don't know, $3,000 a month, for the past 3 months. So that would be obviously 3,000 because that's 3 divided by 9. So you guys get the numbers. But let's say for example, it kind of fluctuates because everyone, they may drive a little bit more, may drive a little bit less. You may pick up a few more hours with Amazon, a few more hours with Uber. A lot of people are mixing the two, and that's all they do, right? But the problem is that if the score is under a certain amount, they're going to keep asking for paperwork, okay? And usually that threshold is about 640. Anything that's above 640, they may not necessarily ask you for a lot of paperwork, just the basics. And there are some cases where if you're over 680, they may not ask you for anything, all right? Now, the amount of the car plays a role as well. If you're trying to buy something over 35,000, over 30,000, where the monthly payment is going to be about 500 or more, then they may ask for a little bit more just to make sure that the income is solid. But honestly, for the most part, if the vehicle you're trying to go with is under $30,000, And then this is where your credit score is going to play a major role, no matter which way you go, obviously. But to make it easier upon yourself, $30,000 or less, and then making sure your score is as high as possible. Now, let's say, for example, your score is not the best, right? Not only could you call 850 Club to help, we can do that. But at the same time, to be totally honest, you want to make sure that if the score is not the best, just be prepared to not only show all like 3 to 6 months bank statements. Number two, be ready to put some money down. I know no one wants to put any money down, but you got to make sure you got to decide what your compromise is going to be. Either you're going to put money down, or you're going to you can't change your income status, so that's not even really an option. So you're going to put money down, or you're going to improve your credit score and then get out of a situation where you have to put money down. Money down isn't necessarily mandatory once your score is like above 680, above 650, unless you're trying to achieve a certain payment. Then that's a little bit different. Now, if you never financed a car before, that's going to be on the record. That's going to be on your credit report. So again, you want to make sure that things are very simple and easy. So let's recap. Number one, understand that you're a 1099 employee. In most cases, unless you're like a bartender, or if you work at a club, or if majority of your income is tips, or majority of your income is just mainly cash and stuff like that. If you're W-2, then of course the check stubs will only show the amount of money that you actually reported. Now that's up to you whether you want to report none, some, or most of it. That's on you. All right. So, but either way, I strongly recommend showing something, especially if that's a good amount of your income, because that's going to show your actual income. What type of income do they look for, especially when you are in that type of if that's your income range, right? So the thing about it is that you'll be able to make sure that if you're in that range, like where you work for one of those companies, that your income should be at least about $12 to $15 an hour, and $12 to $15 an hour gross before anything takes out if you're W-2, or if it's commission and then like something like that. But again, the main focus is 1099. The biggest thing is you want to make sure that you are pulling in at least $12 to $15 an hour. Now, granted, everything's not broken down like that, so the numbers would be about $2,400 a month or $3,000 a month or more. Anything that's in that range with a credit score of like 620, 640, and you got that income, you won't have any problems at all, especially if the car is under 30,000. Now, if you start changing the numbers up, just be prepared to show more paperwork, okay? Because again, people could easily stop driving for Uber, but a person could easily get sick at their job. So it's the exact same thing, and then also they have self-employment insurance for stuff like that. If you're self-employed, if you're driving for Uber, Lyft, Doordash, and all the rest of these places that are out there, they have self-employment insurance for stuff like that, just in case, if you get into a car accident or if you get sick or whatever, and then they have supplemental, income insurance. So you can look out for stuff like that. Just because you do drive for those companies won't provide anything to you because you're 1099. You just have to take it upon yourself to be responsible and make sure that everything's in place. All right. So, but this isn't about insurance, but I just want to put that out there because a lot of times that's what banks think about. And if you have that insurance policy, it makes them feel better because it's like, oh, well, even if this person does stop driving for whatever reason, we got some money coming in, because things do happen. But just like anything else, when you're at a job, though, a lot of times people have that supplemental insurance, or they know that they can get some workman's comp or something like that. Versus when you're self-employed, a lot of those things don't matter. So I'm sorry, a lot of those things are not, not necessarily people don't have them a lot of times, or they don't even look to research it. So either way, very short version of this is all you have to do is make sure that the income is there, that your score is as high as possible. If the score is not high as possible, you can always work with us, or just be prepared to put some money down. And they're going to be looking for bank statements. The biggest thing is going to be income when buying a car, is making sure that the person has the income to do it. They have banks that can easily buy you at $400. I'm sorry, at a 400 credit score, or 500 credit score, or 600 credit score. So they got banks for every score level. They just got to make sure that the income is provable, and the provable income is going to be through bank statements. And then in some cases, they will ask for tax returns, especially around tax season, simply because they say, hey, listen, if you're making X amount of dollars, how come you're not filing taxes? But again, they may only ask for a tax return if your score is like under 550, under like 580. But again, when you're around 620, 640, 680, more than likely they won't go that deep as to talk about tax returns. Every bank is a little bit different. Be prepared, but now you have the list. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you like this video, like it. You want to share it, share it. And as always, be sure to subscribe as to have nothing but great content on the way. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.